Okay, so no better time than now. We'll go over the homework in a second. But let's talk about those solar glasses that you got. You have them for a reason. Now, all day, or not all day, it's only been one period, but since that one period, all I heard was, I look at the sun all the time. Oh, I just see spots after I look at the sun. I do it all the time. Let me tell you guys, even if you do it all the time, even if you have looked at the sun and you think you have become out of it unscathed, anytime you look at the sun, you have the potential for causing eye damage. Those spots you see after looking at the sun is called damage to your eye.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm sure you glanced up at the sun accidentally, may have gone like a little bit, like it hurts your eyes. But the reason we're emphasizing these glasses is because this is probably one of the only times in your life you're gonna literally stand there and stare at the sun. So you should be looking at it. Why are we making such a big deal about this?
Yeah.
Now, some people remember, what were you guys in 4th or 5th grade, the summer in between, I think, when we had what was called a partial solar eclipse. And it was neat, but in the end, okay, we saw the sun covered up a little bit. Kind of ended up looking like almost like some phases of the moon, almost is like you saw part of the sun covered up. And it was neat, no doubt, it was neat. This is not like that. This is completely covered up. We didn't notice last time, it didn't get any darker last time. We didn't really notice any difference. This time it will be nighttime dark. Animals that do nighttime routines. So those of you who have like chickens, for example, I know my chickens put themselves to bed when it starts to get dark out. Chickens will be putting themselves to bed. Birds will be doing their thing where they tweet before bed and then get quiet. Birds will do that. Deer will start to bed down. Like, it will be confusing to the animals as well. It will be neat this time. It will be way different than what we saw, what was that, 2018 or something like that. I don't actually remember what date it was. But anyway, my brother was in the path of totality for that one. He went to some desert to watch it. He literally sent pictures. It was car to car to car to car tourists. We will have tourists here looking at this. There are people who flock from around the world to watch this stuff. That's how rare it is. To be honest, they might, depending on where you live, especially people that live in the middle of nowhere. That's where people are going to be going because they want the darkest spot possible. Because on top of it, you know how lights just turn on when it gets dark? They're on some sort of solar sensor. They're going to turn on. So even just being around the school, it's not going to be as neat as being in the middle of nowhere because you guys don't have lights that turn on automatically. If you have them on your barn or on your house, turn them off. Flick the breaker off. Turn the switch if you have a switch. Like, we have a switch for our one lamp that does it, or one outdoor lamp post. So I will be turning that off. You want to even be away from, like, you don't, even though the school's got a lot of empty ground, you don't want to be here because our lights will turn on. You want to be in the middle of nowhere. So do those tourists. So it is actually going to be a thing. This is the one and only time this is happening in Western New York in any of our lifetimes. So yes, we might get other partials, or you saw the other partial in your lifetime, but you will not see a total one here. There will be ones around the world. So if you really think it's that cool, you can be one of those tourists who go and find them again. But you will not see one here in your own backyard ever again. So that's why we have off on Monday. You know, I don't know if you guys even know this, like for Bills games, you know how Orchard Park and Frontier and Hamburg, they get out early. That's why we don't have schools, because of the same reason, traffic. They're literally expecting traffic here in Pioneer because of this. It's a thing. It's going to be really cool. And here's what I suggest. I know that our lives get busy. I also know that teenagers don't always spend as much time outdoors as us adults would like you to.
Thank you.
So some people may like to hang out in their rooms on the last day of vacation, maybe not seeing anybody in the public. Guys, you need, okay, I haven't seen any tricks how this works. I was one at one point. I really recommend setting a timer on your phone or an alarm on your phone. So here's the hours that it's gonna happen. So when I say partial eclipse, so the sun will start to get covered up around 2:04 p.m. Totality will begin at 3:18. So that's when it'll be completely dark. And it says it'll be maximum totality at 3:20. And then it ends at 3:22. So guys, we're talking about 4 minutes. So you could miss it. You literally could miss it. If you decide to go to the bathroom at 3:17, you might miss it. So I recommend setting some sort of alarm to go out and check it out. It'll be all over by 4:32 p.m. Now your glasses. We gave every single one of you guys glasses for a reason. We want your eyeballs to be safe. So I know you've looked at the sun before, you got the spots, you moved on. This time I want you out there looking at the sun for a decent amount of time. You could literally permanently damage your eyes. Heard somebody say, well, I can't see anything out of them. Any of you guys already put them on and notice it's complete blackness? Let's grab them, go look outside at the sun and see why we gave them. I'm warning you right now, if I see someone looking at the sun without them, I'm sending you automatically to ICE and you will be in there for the day. So do not, because I could then get sued for you losing your eyes because I'm telling you to go outside and look at them. So you grab your glasses. If you've already put them in your locker, you say that, but if you need,
I'll tell my mom what.
even your insurance company could then sue me because I took you out there. Come on out with your glasses.
What? I want to do that.
Okay. Alright. No.
So I should also mention, when we got out there, I heard a couple of people say, well, where is the sun? This sun will be in the southern sky. It will be, what is that? I think north. Sorry, I'm not exactly positive where it'll be, but it'll be in the southern sky. So it's another thing I request you to do before April 8th is to go out sometime over break around 3 p.m. and double check to see where the sun is. Because you might be the unlucky person that you can see the sun any other time of the day, but there might be a tree right in your way. Or that might be right when the sun is right behind a hill or somebody's house for you. So I would recommend one of these other days of break, just heading out around 3-ish and checking out where the sun is to see if you do need to go down the road or to a friend's house or to grandma's house or something. Anybody have any questions about the eclipse still? Yeah,
So once the moon totally covers the sun.
that's this totality. So it'll be completely covered up by the moon.
So we can take our glasses off and like. look around.
So I am not recommending anyone take off their glasses. That would be wrong of me to say that that's a thing.
But we can take a picture.
But when the moon is covering up the sun, and there's no sun, but you will still see the corona of the sun, the outside of it. So at no point would it be a good idea of your teacher to recommend you taking off your glasses. You can do your own research to see if you think it's safe, but I cannot recommend that to any of you. Okay? All right, let's go through the homework. Did anybody, what did we not know from the homework? Nothing? You were able to whip out all of those, no problem?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, let me see if I have the answers already on my PowerPoint. I think I do. I do. Okay, good. What are we not, is it earth science we're not believing each other about? What, which one? What? Never mind for now, okay. Okay. Is this the homework one or the second half here? This is the second half, all right, so. Sorry, this one, yep. So we did, your class actually, we didn't do any of them together. So we've got it going north, 30 knots, 100% cloudy, 972.5 millibars. The barometric tendency is falling 1.7 millibars. Precipitation's 3.2 inches. Temperature 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Dew point 22 degrees Fahrenheit. It is snowing, or it all depends. What did you think this thing looked like? Because it just looked like a blob to me. Okay, so I think everybody went with an asterisk, which is snow. But if you just thought it was a messy dot and you put rain, go with it. On the regions, on anything else I give you, it will completely, utterly match the reference table perfectly. This is a case of not having the right computer program to make them. And a 1/4 mile visibility. So when you check this, let me double remind you, no naked numbers. Every single number needs a label, whether it's knots, percents, millibars, inches, Fahrenheit, or miles. And yeah.
How do you get
Barometric tendency is, let me see if I got the key right here. Sorry, here we go. So barometric tendency, also called barometric trend, is right here in the middle right. They give it as a positive or a negative 2-digit number. So in this case, the one on the key is positive 19. So it gets abbreviated. They just plop a decimal between the 2 digits. And then the positive tells you the pressure is rising. If it's negative, the pressure is falling. Now, hopefully you remember that high pressure is nice weather, low pressure is yuckier weather. So by telling you that the pressure is rising, it should be giving you the hint that the weather's getting nicer now. And so that's what's going on there. One thing is, what if you see a number without a positive or a negative, like the ones in your packet? No. So if I just put up a number 5 on the board, what would you think about that number 5? Would it be a positive or a negative? Positive. So any of them without a positive or a negative is implied that it's a positive number. So I think that was the case with your homework, wasn't it? Oh, not the first one, at least. All right, I went back too far. So this one was falling, but the next one, that one was rising 1.2. Oh, and it did have a positive there. So here's the answers to the second column. Any on that one that we don't understand? I think I mentioned it to your class, if no present weather is listed, if you've noticed all those present weathers, they're all yucky weather. So snow, sleet, hail, rain, fog, smog, thunderstorms, rain showers. If they don't put one, it's saying it's not yucky. So they'll just tell you that it's clear. What about if they don't give you a visibility? What do you think that means? I think that was on one of the ones you just did today, right? What? So if they don't write a visibility, if they left, instead of putting this 3 there, if they left that blank, what do you think that means? It's clear. Was that what you said, or did you say the opposite? Yeah, so a lot of people think that would mean 0 visibility. Again, that's something they would warn you about. It would have full visibility if they don't write anything. Any questions on this middle one? You could write clear or full. Any issues here, though? Last one. Oh, of course. Southwest 15 knots, 100%, 969.0 millibars. It's falling 1 millibar. We have 0.02 inches. It is 70 degrees Fahrenheit for the temperature, 68 for the dew point. It is raining and you have 1 mile visibility. So you will need to be able to interpret those, meaning you'll need to be able to do everything you just did here. But then the regents will follow this up with a question. And they will say, out of these 3, which one most likely has the highest relative humidity? Is humidity listed as one of those things? Nope. But what do we already know about humidity? When is it 100%? Okay. Oh, hang on 1 second there. What did most people just say? When do we have 100% humidity? When it's precipitating. And then Sean, what did you add to that? When what is? Okay, so guys, remember that when it's raining or precipitating, temperature and dew point are equal. So my question was, which one of these had the highest relative humidity? The third one. Again, why, Sean? Yes, so when the temperature and dew point are closest, that's when the humidity is the highest. There's also a couple other hints on here that the dew point or the relative humidity is high. What are some other hints that the relative humidity is pretty high on number 3 here? What else happens when it's humid out? Or when the humidity is high? Clouds. Clouds are a good indicator that it's humid. There's actually one more. Huh? No, it's not the temperature, because we need the temperature and dew point to be the same. What? Hey, the present weather, it's actually raining. So if it's raining, we also know it's very humid. Now this one is snowing, the first one, which means the temperature and the dew point are at least close and the humidity is high, but those ones aren't as high as the third one here. All right, real quick, let's check your answers here. Are there any here that you need me to go over? Didn't understand something? Yes, so clear, instead of none for present weather and clear for visibility work for me. The important thing here where it has no visibility, make sure you do not write 0. That would be wrong. Just about anything else, like none, clear, sunny would work, but do not write 0. 0 means you can't see your hand in front of your face. That's very different than full visibility down the road until your eye can see. All right, so if you don't have all of these done yet, we will come back to them. So you can imagine if you have to be able to read these, the next step is making sure you know how to make these. For example, you have, actually it looks like, let's do one that I'm going to give you for your homework. So if you turn the page to page 45, which by the way will be your homework, give you a bunch of examples of these. So there's 4 total. We're going to do one right now. You have to be able to draw these. I give you a bunch of information and you have to be able to draw them. What do you think you should start with when drawing these? Start with a circle. So all of them, I'll get you started on all of them. Look how helpful I am. There, you're already on your way for all of them. Now, everything that goes along with this, so here's all this. It is important that you put everything in the exact spot it belongs. So I would recommend having the key out and handy. So it starts with it's completely cloudy. How do we show completely cloudy? Shade in the circle all the way. Your drawing doesn't have to be perfect. Yes, I could do some more shading on mine, but I'm not going to. It is clear. I mean that as 100%. So then I check that box. Now we need to show a pressure of 1034.6 millibars. Remember that pressure is always shown in the upper left-hand corner. It is always 3 digits without a decimal point. One other thing I want to point out is look how there are no labels on these. Every single number is naked on these. If you add a label, I have to mark it wrong. So keep that in mind while doing these. So where and how do I put the pressure on here? Where does it go first? Top right. And how do I show it? How do I abbreviate 1034.6? Yep, so get rid of the 10, get rid of the decimal, 346. If you write it with the full number, wrong. If you write it with a decimal point, wrong. If you label it, it's wrong. So that's that one. How do I show that it's falling? 0.1. So remember the barometric tendency is listed right here. Mrs. Ritz. Okay. Yep, bye. Sophia, you're getting picked up. So it is always shown with 2 digits. So there's only 1 digit listed here. What's the second number? Remember that 0.1 is really 0.1. So to show that it's falling, we put the minus sign. Oops, sorry, minus sign. And then we abbreviate this by putting just 0.1. Precipitation of 3 inches shown here in the bottom left, bottom right, sorry, don't know my left from my right yet. Also no label, so it just goes 3. For the record, guys, this is always in a decimal or a whole number, never a fraction for precipitation. Temperature, upper left. No degrees, no Fs, no nothing, just a 45. Visibility always goes first in the the middle left, followed by the present weather. So in this case, they tell us the present weather is drizzle. Drizzle is a comma. So you're going to show that with a comma. And again, the visibility goes out in front of that. So I guess I should have moved that over a little bit actually. And it says visibility is 0.5 miles. Word of warning, visibility is always in a fraction, never a decimal. So 0.5 is equivalent to what fraction? 1/2, 1/2. No miles, no nothing. So that's present weather visibility. Dew point goes right underneath that. Again, no degrees, no nothing. So that's just a 42. Wind direction and wind speed, they're grouped together. They're with the little flag arrow thingy with the feathers on it. It always goes in whatever corner that it's coming from. So in this case, it's northwest. So remember, never eat soggy worms. Northwest then, here's north, here's west. So we're this corner. So your stick is going to come out of that. So notice I went over my 45. That's fine. And then that's the direction. The wind speed is given with the feathers. One whole feather, so just a whole line is 10 knots. Half a feather is 5 knots. It does not matter which way you do them. So in my case, I went up. You could go down. It doesn't matter which way your feathers go. Also, make sure it's clear that one of those feathers is way longer than the other one. Easy enough for your homework? All right, I would like you to grab that quiz that I just handed back to you. I want to make sure, first of all, that I didn't screw up correcting and that you guys have if you have any questions, let me answer those. Are you ready for the correct answers? No? All right, I'll give you another second or two. All right, are you ready now? Okay, number 1, the answer is 40 degrees. Or okay, 40%. Number 2, the answer is D. Number 3, B. Number 4, C. Number 5, A. Number 6, you had to graph that correctly. Needed to look like that. So I double checked that you went up, halfway down, then down to the 27, halfway down to the 26.5, then down to 25, and then down to 19. We needed to know when there was the greatest chance of fog or dew. So remember, that's when temperature and dew point are the closest. So that would be at 11 o'clock. Some people did say 10 and 11. 10, there's a very low chance of fog because the temperature is way up here, humidity, dew point's way down here. 11 o'clock, they're almost exactly the same. So it would have been 11 o'clock and you had to explain it. That was worth another point. So you should have said something about temperature and dew point being the same. We've learned about 2 instruments. The one you should have remembered is the sling psychrometer. The other one's a hygrometer, sorry. And by the way, I did not require spelling to be a thing as long as you didn't write a different word. But I will also point out that answer 3 told you the name of the instrument and nope, that was the only one, but it did tell you in the test itself the name of the instrument. Number 9, the answer would be 100%. And that's because at 8, temperature and dew point were the same. If temperature and dew point are the same, we know there's 100% humidity. With this last one, I gave you the outside temperature. I gave you the humidity. So that's the dry bulb. That's the humidity. So what you'd had to do is go back and find the dew point. Temperature of 30 gives you a relative humidity of 49% when the difference is 8. So you had to find the dew point, so difference of 8. And temperature of 30 gave you 18 degrees Celsius would have been the dew point for that model. Anybody have any questions? We have like a minute. All right, I did put up here that you are going to have a take-home test for this chapter. Because we are officially done with this packet. I will hand out the take-home test tomorrow. I will give you time on Wednesday in class to do the take-home test. And it won't be due until the day after we come home back from break. Don't forget, you have homework, page 45.